Prisoner murdered his cellmate by stabbing him up and strangling him to death. Now, this happened in 2017 inside of HMP Leeds. And the reason why I'm bringing you this story is because I've been looking into murders in high security prisons and this one popped up. Plus, it is actually a bacon basher. So, as you know, if you've been following this channel for a while, I'm doing a lot of stories on the bacon bashers and the ones that have been done inside of prison. Now, this one who bashed the bacon is John Westland, who is actually a bacon himself. He was serving an IPP sentence for the rape of a woman. So he got an IPP sentence for that because he was deemed a danger to the public. Now, he came across Liam Dean, who he was padded up with. Now, Liam Dean, the one that was murdered by his padmate, was actually a piece of work himself. He was in prison serving a life sentence for taking the life of his 2-year-old kid. Now, I will say a kid instead of B-A-B-Y on here because I don't want it to flash up, because that's what happens on YouTube, censored. Now, this piece of work, Liam Dean, had taken the life of his little one, who was only 2 days old, as I've just mentioned. Now, looking into this case, because I have looked into the background of him as well to see what was going on. Now, this little one, who was 2 days old, had been brought home to live with him and his girlfriend. Whilst his girlfriend was asleep, the little one wouldn't stop crying. So this piece of shit actually battered, punching that little one. And for that, he was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum of 10 years. That's all that little one's life was worth. 10 years in prison. Absolutely horrendous getting a sentence like that for doing that. Now, I'm a father of 4 little ones myself. Them first couple of days are the best days of your life when you're spending it with your child who is only 2 days old. That time with your little one, whether they're crying or not, is the best moments in their lives or in your life. Witnessing this, bringing that little one home is the most joyous time in your life. And that animal ended her life with his own fists. How disturbing is that? Now, he was serving that life sentence in HMP Leeds, and these 2 bacons were padded up together. They obviously were on the VP wings because they're both vulnerable prisoners, vulnerable to attack from the other inmates. So these 2 beasties are on the bacon wing and they're padded up together. And obviously, during the night, John Westland, who was serving the IPP sentence, has went on to take out some sort of prison justice, whatever was going through his mind. Obviously, he was in for assaulting a lady, SA on a lady. So he's probably looked at him as not being, or himself as not being as bad. A little bit of hierarchy going on. He's looked down upon his padmate and thought he was going to inflict serious injuries and take his life. So he has carved him up with, it does say a broken aftershave bottle, but I believe it probably would have been either a broken chili bottle, which has been used in prison on numerous occasions, or a coffee jar, because it's not very often you get aftershaves in prison. So he's used the jagged edges of this broken bottle and inflicted the injuries on him, carved him up, then strangled him to death during the night. Then he was found unresponsive the next day by the screws. Obviously, he's went to court and been given a life sentence for the murder of his padmate with a minimum of 19 years. Not a bad sentence if you ask me, for taking someone's life inside a prison whilst you're already serving an IPP sentence. It could have quite easily been a 25 to a 30 minimum. So I think the judge has been quite lenient when he's dished out this sentence. For somebody who's ended the life of a little one like that, people might say justice has been served, especially when he was given such a measly sentence of 10 years minimum for that child's life. But normally these type of cases, like I've said when I was researching into it, when I do these type of cases, it's normally more often than not, it's happened on the VP wings inside of high security prisons. but he hasn't even made the high security prison. He's went to the gates of hell because his pad mate has ended him in that pad that fateful night. Prison justice at its finest. But I just thought I would bring these stories to you to let you know exactly what goes on inside of prison, and that just because they're on the VP wing does not mean they're protected. There is loads more stories like this to come, because when I've been researching into it, there's any amount that you never hear of out here in the general public unless you read the papers, because sometimes these type of cases never make the headlines on the national news. So I will be bringing you them right here on this channel. And as usual, people, hopefully you are enjoying the content. And if you are, remember to comment, like and subscribe. Take care, everyone.